Turning now to President Biden's busy week. A little bit ago, the president announced $1 billion worth of federal grants. They're part of his American Rescue Plan to help boost regional economic strategies. This coming after his fiery speech in Philadelphia last night. President Biden calling for unity while also punching up his criticism of his predecessor and what he calls MAGA Republicans. For more, let's bring in ABC News Political Director Rick Klein. Rick, good to see you. The president says $1 billion will go to 21 regional partnerships across multiple sectors. So the question here is, with inflation and the unemployment rate that we currently have, is this a smart move?
Well, Kenneth, this is money that was already approved. It's not new dollars, at least not in this round of grants. And if you listen to what the president said about where the money would go, you can see him tailoring the message to economies of certain regions. He singled out West Virginia and Manchester, New Hampshire, two politically important places, but also two places where the economic boost around creating new hubs around technology can be a big benefit. And that's been one of the touchstones of this package. It helped in the politics of getting it through, and it helps now in the salesmanship of it, is making sure that the money's going to places that can use it for direct economic aid. And these are the sorts of things that just on a political level, members of Congress love it. They can go back and say that they delivered this, that they got the ear of the president to bring something back for their districts. And the president was cognizant of that as well, calling out Joe Manchin, who was so critical in passing the package a few weeks ago. He even called him JoJo, which is a nickname I'd never heard before for him.
Yeah. That was a new one. Yeah, so money. The president wants a lot of it. We're learning that the Biden administration is asking Congress for more than $47 billion to cover what it deems to be top urgent funding priorities, such as COVID, war in Ukraine, monkeypox, natural disasters. What do we know about that, Rick?
This is the White House trying to get around and otherwise paralyze Congress. There's some big deadlines coming up, including a government funding deadline at the end of the month. The president, I think, is recognizing that there's likely to be a lot of political maneuvering around this, so he's trying to slip some other things through that he deems as urgent. I'll tell you, on the matter of COVID funding, I can imagine a major fight, particularly on the Republican side. They have used COVID and the federal government's response to it as a touchstone in the political wars. The idea of additional tens of billions right before an election, I don't think is going to be something that's greeted very friendly, in a very friendly basis. Things like Ukraine funding, I think, would have an easier time, but I think that Congress is going to have to work on some kind of a side package aside from the major government funding bill, and the White House is putting on its wish list.
Rick, as you know, there was a time where President Biden wouldn't even utter his predecessor's name, wouldn't say the words Donald or Trump. But last night, as we get closer to that midterm, when the president was in Philadelphia, he spoke pretty aggressively in his language against the former president and his supporters. Let's show this clip, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans, are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
What's the strategy here, Rick?
Yeah, Kenneth, I counted 3 mentions of Trump's name and 13 mentions of MAGA. And this is an attempt by the president to identify both of those issues, both of those entities, Trump and MAGA, as his opponents in 2022. Whatever happens in 2024, Democrats and Joe Biden want to be running against Donald Trump in 2022. And I thought it was so interesting to see the president, who, yes, once talked a lot about unity, essentially say there's a segment of the country that has made up its mind and is not going to be able to be reached either in the midterms or elsewhere. The so-called MAGA Republicans, those are the target. And this was a speech that very much was about exciting his political base right on the eve of Labor Day and the start of the campaign season.
2 months away, those midterms. All right, Rick, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.